So we have to fight. At least we can take all the problems that we have collectively in this room, and let me also say in the whole of Sansar, we can say that we are fighting at 3 levels. We are fighting at the level of Sansar, of physical level. We are fighting our gunas, or at our psychological level. And we are fighting at our spiritual level also. Our battle on the Sansar level is basically a battle of our karmas. All of us are born with karma from past life. Is it possible that we are born with no karmas? Why?
You will not be born.
You will not be born. You will not be born. If you didn't have any karma baggage, अवतार, you are avatar or what? Yeah, avatar का क्या बोलने का? Avatar is a different class. I'm talking about humans. We are born. That is a proof that we have got some karma. Karma is not necessarily bad. We can be born with good karma also. We can be born with bad karma also. The fact that we are born on earth means we are all born with mixed karma. Mishrit. We have some good and we have some bad. It's a fact. And this karma that we are born with is called prarabdha. And I will talk more about this karma when we go to chapter 3. But right now I'm just giving you the gist, which is what Bhagwan Krishna is also doing over here. Prarabdha. We have to face these karma situations. We do not have a choice. As I wrote in my WhatsApp message, the arrow has left the bow. The arrow has left the bow. Karma is already there in your life. You have no option but to face it. And the act of facing it means you will have to do something. Therefore, action is compulsory. And this doing something is called purusharth. If you decide not to do anything also, that is also an action. Because you say, I am doing nothing. So you are still doing. So the fact that karma is going to come in your life is compulsory. The fact that you have to do something about the karma is also compulsory. But how you will do it is your free will. And that is the meaning of free will. How you are facing your karma. Free will doesn't mean that karma may come or may not come. Karma will come. Compulsory. You will have to do something about it. Compulsory. How you do it? Free will. You may decide, I will go head on and exhaust this karma in this life. Determination. Option. It's an option. Or, as we said, you can take the poor me stance. Or you can take the resistance stance. No, I refuse that this happens to me. That is stance of arrogance. Resistance. You just pretend that it's unfair and it should just disappear from my life. It cannot. It cannot just disappear. You have to do something about it. So if we choose to exhaust these karmas through positive self-effort, through purusharth, then what will happen? Over a period of time, the effect of that karma will wear off. It will become less. The situation may go on, but its effect on you will be less. Its disturbance to you will be less. And because its disturbance is left, you will experience sukh here and now. Because it will give up its ability to disturb you.
It's the buddhi that exercises free will.
Yes. Now, what happens if we use our buddhi, we exercise free will, we do our sadhanas, we try to exhaust our karmas to the best of our abilities, but we don't exhaust them completely. Maybe we are partly successful in removing, say, 10% of our karmas, or 20%, or 80%, or 50%. Frankly speaking, we don't know. What will happen? You will still be a winner. Why? Because ek to you have reduced some of the karmas, and the fact that you have exercised self-effort has made you stronger. It has purified your BMI. It has made you more pure. It has made you more strong. And in your next life, at least you don't have to face those karmas again. In the next life, you will get a birth which will be at a higher level than this one. So we don't want... See, I know that some situations in our lives are very troublesome. We know that some situations in our life are giving lot of dukh. I know that some situations in our life are unbearable. I know that some situations in your life want you to run away from them. But I feel very strongly that you should be saved by not running away. Because next life you will have to face it again. There is no option, unfortunately. And maybe this class will be there, or maybe it will not be there. I don't know. Huh? Video record. But if you're a cockroach in next life, then you can be a fly on the wall, right? Second level. Karma, you understood, everyone?
Yes.
Uttishta, then get up and fight it. Okay.
Also resolve is the resolve the conflict is the
Resolve. Accept. Don't focus on it. Focus on the solution. Second level, you are fighting at the level of gunas or at your psychological level.
Ma, one thing.
Yeah.
It's a little confusing.
I know this is very confusing information. Actually, it is really confusing. Tell me.
There's a problem, and first thing is to accept it.
Yeah.
It's my doing and I'm getting what I have done, so accept it. The second is to get up and fight.
Yeah. Get up and fight me, not banduk and all. Huh?
No, but suppose it means that suppose can you give an example, a concrete example?
Let's say that I have a problem with my mother-in-law. Common problem. So, if I have a problem with my mother-in-law, most women seem to have that problem. Okay, I also had. I have to admit. Maybe the fact that my mother-in-law irks me, or my mother-in-law irritates me, or my mother-in-law is causing difficult situations in my life, it is possible that in a past life I had some issues which has brought this situation in my life. That much you can understand,
Yeah.
taking the responsibility.
Yeah.
Now, either I can use the poor me stance. Poor me. What a husband. He's not buying me another house also. I have to stay with her 24 hours. And she's not happy with anything I do. I'm a poor me. You're going to feel dukh or sukh in that life? Dukh. Or I can say, dash dash woman.
The women are laughing more than the men.
Because it is touching somewhere inside. How dare she? My life is ruined. Why did I get into this situation? She should change. She should be like this. She should be like that. She should. Arey Baba, the she should will never change. Because that person is born like that. That person has become expert at being like a nag. And that person is going to die being a nag. So, your whole life, you're going to wait for that nag to become an unnag. And that's never going to happen. Sukh or dukh? Dukh. Now what to do? I accept first that this is my karma. I did something in my past life. Why is it come in my life now? Maybe it is come for me to become a better person. Maybe this karma is I'm incurring that I was not a tolerant person in my earlier life. Maybe I was not accepting in my earlier life. Maybe I had too many demands. Maybe I was that nag in the previous life. Maybe so many options are available for me as I was in my previous life. And this is the karma I have chosen in this life because I am ready to learn the lesson. No karma is given to you by the universe at a time when you are not capable of learning from it. Who gives a 9th standard textbook to a 2nd standard student? Not school, no. Why the universe will do it? The universe is giving you that textbook because in this lifetime it believes strongly that you have reached a maturity where you can learn and become a better person from this karma. So I change my 180 degrees. I turn. Instead of seeing it as a problem, I see it as an opportunity. I see it as an opportunity to evolve. I see it as an opportunity to use this situation to employ my sama, to employ my dhamma, to employ uparama, to make my titiksha stronger, to make my shraddha stronger, to bring my focus on my highest goal, swadharma. I have all these things. Why don't I use them? Why do I remain like a poor me over there? Why do I allow this situation to press my buttons? Why do I allow these triggers to make me dukhi? These are what I'm supposed to learn. This person can go on rubbing me like sandpaper and I must go on becoming more polished. I must go on becoming smoother. I must go on becoming more radiant. Let me grow and let this poor sandpaper exhaust himself or herself. Mother-in-law can be, because you asked for example, I said mother-in-law. My mother-in-law be whatever. Let me rise. He says, Uttishta, stand up, get up, rise in your thinking. Use this situation because it has been given to me as my doorway to moksha. Hello, get it once and for all. This bad situation is my gateway, it's my portal, it's my doorway, it's my path. If I can overcome it, I have risen. Aham Brahmasmi, I can become. But I am stuck there. My so and so is like this. My that one is like that. my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, my husband, my wife, my mother, my father, my sister, my brother, my boss, my colleague, my peon, my cook, my driver, my bus driver, my taxi driver. What? What are we doing with our life? For what are we born and what are we doing? एक को मार देगा ना गोली से तो दूसरा रहेगा उधर to trouble you.
ट्राई करेगा तो
How many people you are going to run away from? How many people you are going to try to destroy? Do you not see you are destroying yourself? You are destroying the greatest opportunity universe has given you, Manushya Janam. It is only for your evolution. Don't worry what this one is doing, that one is doing, husband is like this, the wife is like that. क्या करने का है? They are all passengers in the bogie of the train. They will get off at their stations, you go to your destination. क्या करने का है? So and so is behaving badly, so and so is sulking, so and so is lazy, so and so says bad words, so and so doesn't work, so and so does that, so and so, let it be so and so. Do your journey. Don't get off at any station because somebody else is not going to their destination. Getting it? Ma, got it? Little bit. Don't run away because there is nowhere to run. There's nowhere to run. The karma is going to follow you. You give up, it will follow you there. Okay? Be blessed. Follow it. Develop your strength. Develop your sama. Develop your dhamma. Develop your oparama. Develop your shraddha. Develop your tidiksha. These are your weapons. Okay? Like Arjun, don't throw them down. So, gunas, we are all born with gunas. There is nothing in this world which doesn't have three gunas, which are sattva, rajas, tamas. Whatever we will wish, whatever we will think, whatever we will say, whatever we will do, will be covered by the predominant guna that is prevalent more in you at that moment. Gunas go on fluctuating. In the morning when you are here, lot of sattva is predominant. Right? Then when you go out and you go home, it should be still prevalent, but it may not. It may be tamas or it may be rajas. It goes on fluctuating. Now, if our desires are more tamasic or our desires are more rajasic, then our thoughts will also follow the same way. If our thoughts follow, then our actions will follow. If our actions follow, then what we'll get? Karma. See how it is all interlinked. So more karma. So therefore the battle is to fight our rajasic and tamasic gunas and become more and more sattvic. And this is a big fight. It's not an easy fight, okay? If you fight this and you win against your tamasic and rajasic guna, you will be more sattvic. Being more sattvic means you will be living at a higher level of thinking, higher level of desiring, higher level of action, higher level of living. Thinking and living will be higher, nobler. And if you are living at that level, your level of happiness or sukh will also be higher. But if you decide not to fight against your lower tendencies, if you decide giving up, I feel like eating this chocolate cake, but I had made a resolve to lose weight, I should not be eating it, but let me just eat it this once. Tomorrow I will start my diet. Tomorrow comes, the same thing will happen. And every day your diet will be postponed by one day. What will happen? You have gone into what? Tamas. You have gone into tamas. At the end of it all, what will happen? 10 extra kilos. Dukh or sukh? You understand? You have to fight it. You cannot not fight it. You have to fight it. Okay, let us suppose I fight and I manage to change only some areas of my life from tamas to sattva. And some things only I manage to change from rajas to sattva. Winner or loser?
Winner.
Winner! Of course, winner. Because at least in those areas, you have purified yourself. At least in those areas, you have become of greater mental resolve. At least in some areas, you have become sattvic. So fighting is the only option. Fighting what? My gunas, my tendencies, my propensities, my likes and dislikes, my moods. If I don't fight, I will go more and more and more and more tamasic. And let me tell you, even those areas where you are sattvic will turn rajasic and then tamasic. It's always easier to go down. Gravity will take you there. It's more difficult to go up. Going up requires more effort. Going down requires no effort. So it's always easier to go downwards. Alright, spiritual level. What is the battle? What is the battle? What are you fighting? That we have done in gunas.
Going away from the mold.
You are fighting ignorance.
Holier than thou.
Avidya. Avidya. You are fighting ignorance. And it is only in the human birth that you can fight it. Remember that. Even if you are in Swarg, you cannot fight it. In Swarg, no one evolves.
Nobody.
Only in human birth you can evolve. That is why it is such a great blessing. So our battle at the spiritual level is against avidya. It's against ignorance. Ignorance means thinking I am just this body, this outer roop, this shell. You're thinking a shell is who you are, when actually who you are is what is within that shell. Okay? So, if we win, moksha. If we lose, but somewhere we have managed to remove some brahms, some illusions, some knowledge, some intellectually we have understood. Good. No sadhana is ever wasted. Even if there is no moksha after this life, in the next life you will be reborn in a level from where you can understand higher. Yes, you will reach a situation, you will be born in a situation where you will be able to do higher sadhana and get a higher level of understanding. But if you don't do anything to fight the battle of ignorance, if you decide to run away from this battle of ignorance, if you say, I prefer to stay in my blissful, ignorant state, and I don't know who has coined this word, ignorance is bliss.
British.
Who could be this idiot who has said ignorance is bliss? Next life, same chakki pisawing, back to the grind. And then there's one worse step. Not only are you not interested in fighting the battle against ignorance, but you thrive in ignorance, you pursue avidya, you live a dharmic life, you wallow in adharma, you can be 100% sure you will have all your lovely desires met in your next life at the level that enjoys those kinds of desires. Did you understand what I'm saying? If your desires are animalistic and you have strong animalistic desires which never get fulfilled, which never get satisfied, which never get quelled, and you die with such desires, the next birth is always for fulfilling desires, right? So you will be born in that environment which can fulfill those desires. Maybe they will be pleasant for those people, but definitely not for a spiritual aspirant. Okay?
So that was really my question, was that if we had some animalistic desires and now somehow with whatever good this
Somehow, with lot of hard work.
as in because of some good karma we've got this jnana now, but because those animalistic desires have sort of set us up for being born next time into
No, but when you have got the gyan, how will those animalistic desires still remain?
no, now they may have reduced in this birth, but
Huh.
the backlog
Reduce means reduce. You are getting rid of it. The important thing is you die with that desire or you die with that desire resolved. It's at the time of death. You have time still. So these are the three battles and each one of us is fighting at each level. Each of us is fighting the karma. Each of us is fighting the guna. And each of us is fighting the ignorance. We all of us are fighting at all three levels. And your bliss, your sukh, your dukh, your suffering is all in your own hands. Stop passing the buck. Now you can fight also. And this Bhagavan Krishna is telling you to fight. Uttishta. Pick up your weapons and fight. But it's not just doing your dharma. It's not just fighting. It's the attitude with which you are fighting. It's the attitude with which you are doing your dharma. It's the attitude with which you are doing your duties. It's the attitude with which you are taking the responsibilities. And what is that attitude that I need to implement or to have while I'm doing my dharma? What is that attitude, the correct attitude which will take me towards moksha, and which is the wrong attitude which will take me into patan, is in the next verse. I can't help it. It is in the next verse. Now what can I do? So you know that your highest responsibility is towards your evolution. Your highest responsibility is to move towards moksha. All other dharmas are there to help you along the way. But the highest dharma is the swadharma of realizing Aham Brahmasmi. So Karma Yoga is the first method of doing my dharma, which is the topic that Bhagavan Krishna will start in the next verse, and which we will also learn from next time.